Beautiful people, welcome to another episode of Conversations Unleashed. It's me, it's Michael Bonner. I'm your neighborhood favorite teacher, your favorite speaker. Listen, I am here. I'm glad I've made it. It is the end of August. Can y'all believe that? It is the end of August. The time is moving, and I thank y'all so much for supporting the Conversations Unleashed Rising Together platform, and it means so much to me. Shout out to all of our new listeners. Y'all, I've been to Oklahoma, to Illinois, Missouri, Vegas. I've been all over this summer speaking and meeting all of you, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. So I want to definitely give a shout out. We have to. Let me take my braces off for this. I have to give a shout out, first off, to our YouTube family. Y'all watch every episode. Shout out to the Apple Podcast family and the Spotify Podcast family. But I want to give a special shout out to my friend Chantel. She's here for InvestFest, and she dropped off an incredible hoodie. I love her brand. It's called Wellfish. And the statement of her brand, I'm going to read it for you directly. What she says is selfishly pouring into your personal wellness. And I like that because at one point in time, y'all, I was pouring from my cup, but I'll get empty. Then I'll pour from my cup when I fill it up. It wouldn't work out too much. And now I pour out from the cup that overflows, okay? So that's why I like Wellfish. If you love this hoodie, it's a cream. You know, I love my cream and earth tones. Definitely look up Wellfish, support her. That is my family, support her. And this week, we got some heat for you. This week, everyone, we're going into our new series, and I'm gonna break it down to you how I'm envisioning our media company moving from now on, right? Because Conversations Unleashed, y'all, I done built a whole media company. On Mondays, you're gonna hear from me. Okay, on Wednesdays, I'm implementing something new. It's a current event, audio only, what's going on in the world and in the financial markets. And why am I doing that? There's nothing worse than being misinformed. And you can't be a proper leader if you're not aware of what's going on around you. So that will come out on Wednesdays, and on Fridays, they're always anonymous. We drop an episode with that this Friday as well, because you need a little bit of spice in your life. You need a little bit of, you know, what's happening, what's going on. So let's get into today's episode, because y'all, school is back in session for the Ron Clark Academy this week. Y'all, the babies come back. Lord have mercy. I'm back in the classroom. I don't get a normal summer like everybody else, you know, so I'm not fully ready during the summertime. I'm meeting some of you, but I have my syllabus, I have my Google Classroom, and I have a direction in where we're going this year, which is towards excellence. Okay, I have a direction, but I feel really good about it. And as we're approaching the first day of school this week for me, on Thursday, my perspective about education has changed. Even down to how long I've been teaching, the purpose of education. And it's funny because I'm gonna put the screenshot right here. Case Williams, a fourth grade student of mine, house it's a Bendy. What's up, Bendy? He talked about something. He sent me a video. And the video basically says this: does school actually make you less intelligent? So I texted him back and was like, hey, Case, you want me to talk about it on the podcast? He was like, sure, can I be on it? In that case, I didn't talk to your mom, so I didn't get it approved yet, but I'll make sure you're on a future podcast. But y'all, I wanna react to this video in this podcast because we have teachers here that listen to this. We have leaders, we have the CEOs, we have some of everybody. We have parents, we have students. So I want us to dive into this because does school actually make you less intelligent? We're gonna find out. So let's have a great episode today and let's take off. Let's go. So what I'm gonna do is, it is a minute clip that I'm gonna react to on YouTube. You'll be able to see my live reactions there. And also in this audio experience, you'll be able to hear it. And I'm gonna play this video right now because does school actually make you less intelligent? Let's listen in.
What if I told you that every single day kids go to school, they become less intelligent?
This guy is about to expose the entire education system and completely change your perspective on it.
The fact is, there is so much more than just one type of intelligence. While school can make you more academically intelligent, it is diminishing the children's creative intelligence. It is teaching them to think a certain way, to go down a certain path in life. Go to high school, get a diploma. Go to a good college, find a stable job. And if you don't do that, you won't be successful. How did I, a straight C student, start a technology company at the age of 16? It must be something that can't be measured by academic intelligence alone. I still think I'm the only Asian kid in the world that doesn't understand math. No one has ever changed the world by doing what the world has told them to do.
All right, listen, that's heavy. That's a heavy. He made a lot of really good points in this, and I want to break these down, right? I want to break these down. We're going to react to this because I think it's really good, and I want to stop it during certain parts. But I want to make sure that we really dissect this, because let me tell y'all something. One thing about me now that I turned 35, I don't like doing things if I don't have any fulfillment inside of it. One of the best things, it was one of the best feelings ever. You know, you're coming into the school and the kids run up to you and they love the way you teach. Like, we had an event with my 8th graders, and they were talking about some of their favorite memories was like the debates and stuff in my class. So now moving forward, if I'm in the classroom, I'm trying to have a blast, and I'm trying to make sure that when my students graduate, they're not having this type of thought, right? So let's react to this. Let's go back to the first 20 seconds, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it. Let's listen.
What if I told you that every single day kids go to school, they become less intelligent?
This guy is about to expose the entire education system and completely change your perspective on it.
The fact is, there is so much more than just one type of intelligence. While school can make you more academically intelligent, it is diminishing the children's creative intelligence.
Let's get into that. Their creative intelligence. Let me tell y'all something. This is gonna be a crazy statement. For me, being an educator, but let me tell you something, and I firmly believe this. I really do believe the education system is actually suppressing students' creativity. I do. We're the only institution that is stuck in the past. We have this way of just doing outdated things, and then we're looking around confused. Here's a good example. The education system, I'll go before I get there. Here's practical examples of how the education system is so far behind. This summer, I'm thankful that I was able to do those keynotes. I want to be very clear. So grateful to do any keynote I get a chance to do. But what I'm saying is, only in education do they ask for 90-minute keynote speeches. Keynote speech, not a breakout session, a keynote speech. I was talking to someone in corporate America because I'm trying to get a speech for that very soon. And the funny thing is, I was like, well, how long do you want your speech to be? Y'all, they looked at me and said, yeah, just 30 minutes, 40 minutes max. I was like, what? I was happy. But in education, we're willing to put teachers through a 90-minute keynote session, but at the same time, tell them we want you to engage kids in a powerful way. Cognitive dissonance, right? We don't even let teachers paint the walls in their schools. We don't even let them use diffusers in their school, in our schools, to let the classroom smell good. But at the same time, we're believing we're going to raise and train some of the most creative leaders in the world just because it's supposed to happen. It's not happening that way, right? So do I think the education system is stuck in the past? It is. How is it stuck in the past? Well, if you do not know, the origin of the education system, in a way, was built around the industrial age as far as like the classroom setting, the straight rows. Now, if we just look at that, how classes are still inside of straight rows to this day, what we can dissect from that is it was sort of built like the assembly line at one point in time. They needed to push people through the education system to make sure that we empower our economy, get our economy moving, especially during World War I and World War II. And when you think about it, the education system is built to actually help sustain the work environment. Right? What do I mean by that? Well, if you look at most job hours, they're from 9 to 5. You look at the school system, it's about from 8 to 3. Most kids are staying in after school programs until their parents get off, right? And we found that out during COVID when kids had to stay home and learn from home. It almost disrupted the whole entire workforce, which is why the work from home model came into space now. So what am I saying? The education system is outdated. I said it. And if we're talking about making 21st century global leaders, students who can compete with not only just kids in the United States of America, but in China, inside of Russia and other countries, we need to shift some things, which is why I've told you over and over again, family, the AI disruption that's going to take place, it's about to wreck it. The education system is going to be the first one to get their head knocked off. Why? Because we are so slow towards change. And we're in this space, right, where it suppresses creativity. It was formatted, the original education model that we're still using right now was formatted during the industrial age. Now AI is going to come along. And you know what's going to make it funny about that, everybody? Is that the way it gives information out now, most schools ain't going to be able to keep up, which is why we have schools like the Alpha School. Tip my hat to them for creating something new and something different. So does the education system suppress creativity? Yes, it does. The question is, who's going to do something about it? You know I am. You know at the Ron Clark Academy, baby, we're going to figure something out. We're going to try to do something different. But the question is, who will do something different? And we need to think about it. Because if you think about it, y'all, it's 2025. There's still schools that are making it mandatory for teachers to do bulletin boards. You're doing bulletin boards in a digital world. Create a school website, a school TikTok or Instagram page. Let teachers the stuff they post on their stuff, put it to your page. At least if you get some traction and some views, a company will look in as a sponsorship and say, hey, we can sponsor you and give you this amount of dollars, but if you post this using these products, which makes sense because schools needs money anyway. That's the disconnect I'm talking about, y'all. The stuff I'll be talking about ain't even that innovative or creative. At this point, it's just common sense. How come schools haven't started YouTube channels and social media pages that operate in a capitalistic way so they can earn some money for their school? Once again, the education system is behind. But y'all know me from the last episode. Don't tell people, you got to show them. And we will. Let's go to this next one, because I agree, it does suppress creativity. Let's see what the next one has to say.
It is teaching them to think a certain way, to go down a certain path in life. Go to high school, get a diploma. Go to a good college, find a stable job. And if you don't do that, you won't be successful.
Hey, yo, that formula, go to high school, get your diploma, get a degree, get married. Who told us that? Who told us that? Yo, who made that formula up? Like, to this day, I'm still thinking, like, who created that? Who said the model is go to high school, get a diploma, go to college, get married? Like, who did that? Who told us that? Do y'all know? Drop that in the comments. Who told us that model? Now, when I was going out to, I think I was in Oklahoma, I was talking to my Lyft driver about it, and I think, that formula has a lot of caveats. Is it a good baseline formula? Oh, for sure. For sure. Prioritize your education. Get your diploma from college, get a degree, get married, build a family, buy a home, the American dream. That's what they call it. And this is a perfect example that when you don't innovate and change, the American dream don't mean nothing, baby. It means absolutely nothing. And when you look at this formula, the formula does have a lot of caveats inside of it. For example, go to high school, go to college, get your degree. Well, what college are you going to? Is it a respectful college? Is it a respected college? Is it an institution that companies will value and say, if we hire this person, it'll look good for us? Well, get your diploma and degree. What are you getting your degree in? In this age and time, anybody just going to college just to go to college, it is the craziest thing in the world. Why? Because one, you're collecting student loan debt. We know student loan debt is definitely a deterrent into building generational wealth. So you're going to college, you're getting a degree in something that you're not passionate about, so then you go, and it doesn't pay well, so you graduate from college, and a degree is something you're not passionate about, and you have to pay back the student loan debt, and you don't have a career path. It's crazy, right? So this traditional model of school, I think it needs to be checked on. Y'all, you and I both know we have friends that were going to college that were only there to get a refund check, which was ludicrous within itself, because you're going to get a refund check and you're taking the money and blowing the money, but you're actually taking a loan from your future. That refund check was actually loan money. It wasn't a scholarship money. So look, it was a crazy time. It was a crazy time. What I can say though is this, what I want to say about that formula, people need to start looking at their skill sets and their talents and their family makeup and make a decision based on them. Now, I don't agree with everything that Dr. Umar Johnson says, but he did say something pretty brilliant when it comes to the traditional model of education. And he stated that if you're going to go to college, you should go to college and make sure you go get a degree in something that is financially beneficial to you and your family and that has a really good pathway. Otherwise, going to college is, in a way, you're just making them money, because you're taking out all these loans, you got your basic degree, but if you look around, everybody, these entry-level jobs are already getting smacked upside the head due to artificial intelligence. So this traditional model of school where you just go get a degree, go to college, have a family, get a house, even getting a house. During this time, inflation has wrecked the real estate market. Everybody's not picking up houses like that anymore. More people are actually renting now. All right, that's an argument for another day. But look, I just want us to make sure that we understand that same model, get your degree, go to college, etc., You can follow it, but I think you need to pay attention to the caveats inside of it. I think we all need to be champions of that. Let's go to this last piece, all right? Here we go.
How did I, a straight C student, start a technology company at the age of 16? It must be something that can't be measured by academic intelligence alone. I still think I'm the only Asian kid in the world that doesn't understand math. No one has ever changed the world by doing what the world has told them to do.
Hey, first off, I was laughing at the Asian joke. He's Asian, clearly, so he can make that joke, and I'm cool with that. He said, how can a C student go off to be a business owner? Everybody, listen in. Listen carefully, because you know what, Rising Together, my podcast, we tell the truth, fam, and we try our best to empower people. Listen to me. How can a C student start a business and still be successful? Because the American tax laws were not made for everyday 9-to-5 workers like you and I. They were made for business owners, and they were made for entrepreneurs and the investor. That's the truth. Anyone telling you that the tax laws were made to solely benefit or not that 9-to-5 workers have more benefit than business owners and investors, they are lying to you to your face. Okay? That is why I push entrepreneurship with my students. That's why we talk about financial literacy to my fourth graders when they're learning about the start of America, because the tax laws weren't built to fully benefit 9-to-5 people. Here's a good example. Teacher school supplies. As a teacher, you can write off $250 for the school supplies. $250, that ain't nothing but expo markers off that, right? But a business owner, you can write off as much as you want to write off. COVID happened. 9-to-5 workers, what we get? Stimulus check, $1,400. Business owners, what do they get? The PPP loan. And those that used it correctly, they could apply to as much as they want to make payroll for their workers. It was more than $1,400, I tell you that. Let's go deeper. Buying of cars. That's why I laugh at people on social media, because we are so social media driven. Wake up. When it comes to regular cars, you can lease things all you want to as 9-to-5 workers. We can go buy and get a car loan, etc. But a business owner, based on the weight of the car, you can pick up a car and they can actually deduct the entire cost of the car from your overall income for the end of the year, which is what was put inside of the big, beautiful bill. So all these people flexing on social media, if you're flexing that car and you don't have it as a business, I'm definitely looking at you sideways, because you're not even taking advantage of a tax code that's put in place to give you an advantage, right? Even y'all, 9-to-5 people like you and I and business owners, they have a different tax bracket than us. 9-to-5, you have the traditional single and married, joint or filing single, right? Whatever, filing separately. For business owners, there's a whole different tax bracket called capital gains tax. They're in a different, if you hold your assets for less than a year or longer than a year, you even get taxed differently. The tax code wasn't made for the traditional person, and which brings it to a point about school systems. Is it making us less intelligent? In a way, because one, they don't preach entrepreneurship and they don't encourage financial literacy. So we have people graduating from these universities, graduating from these high schools, that you don't understand what a tariff is, you don't understand who a consumer is, you don't have any understanding of economics or financial literacy, which in a way feeds the issue. All right? I'm sorry, I get passionate about that. Because if you look at it, we talking about does the education system and why does a C student can go off and be a CEO and make millions of dollars? Y'all, because it's not the same game. We're not playing on the same field. Here's a good example. Congress, people that work in Congress, House representatives and senators, they get paid on a salary, but their net worth does not reflect their salary. Here's a good example. Nancy Pelosi. I rock with Nancy Pelosi just based on her investing style, baby. Nancy Pelosi gets like $175K for her salary per year, but she has a net worth of about $500 million, supposedly. How? How are you getting paid $175,000, but you have a net worth of $500 million? They're playing by different rules. They're playing by different laws. Maybe I need to do a financial literacy podcast one day called Get to the Money. But listen, the school system is not set up to accurately and fully prepare a student in 2025 for the real world. Are there some schools in pockets that are being innovative? For sure. Yes. But is it set up that way? No. So what do? I'm gonna tell you the 3 things I do. Here's the solution so we can get up out of here, okay? Here's the 3 solutions to how Mr. Bonner, I am approaching this model of the education system and how I can make sure my students are intelligent themselves. Number 1, create a business. If your school does not have business owners or entrepreneurs coming to talk to the kids, you're failing them. If your school does not have business owners, entrepreneurs, and every other diaspora of jobs, but those 2 coming to talk to the kids, you're failing them. Why? Because everyone isn't meant to be an A student. But if you can be a C student, but have A people skills, A EQ, emotional intelligence, oh, you're going to win. So this year for my class, my 6th graders, they want to create a business. First day of school, that's my first lesson. On Thursday, August the 28th, Mr. Bonner is going to be teaching my kids about the Big Beautiful Bill. They're going to annotate an informational text on it. And guess what? They're going to build a business for this school year, along with me teaching them reading. Why? Because I want them to get a real good idea of how can I, Mr. Bonner, be effective in this environment. I don't want my students to ever come to me and be like, hey, I didn't learn nothing in your class. Or, hey, what you taught us didn't even prepare me for the real world. I don't want that to happen to them. So number 1, they're going to create a business. Number 2, discourse. My students are going to annotate and dive deeper into text and have conversations around them by using the Socratic method, the Harkness method. But I'm going to tell you something, everybody. The reason why I'm excited about that is because we don't know how to talk to each other. I've said this all across the country for the past 7 years, everybody. We were taught, I'm a millennial, I'm 35. We were taught how to debate with each other, how to prove somebody's wrong. We weren't taught how to actually have discourse, how you can have a point and believe something. And you know what? I can have a standpoint and believe that as well. And how can we respectfully disagree or agree? We weren't taught that. But in order to be successful, in order to be a signs of intelligence is listening to understand and respond, not just listening to respond. So we're going to do a lot more talking this year. A lot more reading and talking. But the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to teach my kids how to build a symbiotic relationship with AI. I will not ban artificial intelligence inside of my classroom. We're already building our own AI committee here at the Ron Clark Academy. But let me tell you something. The person that's going to win is the person that has a symbiotic relationship with AI where it makes them better. And if I can show my students how to use it to leverage them, not do the work for them, they're going to win. Here's a good example. Okay, here's a really good example. If you have a person that has went to Harvard, the highest place in regards to education, one of the most prestigious names, and you have someone that may have went to an institution that does not have the same endowment as Harvard, they can go both major to be teachers. Okay, one may have the better content. Let's say Harvard, stereotypical, has a better content knowledge of the person that goes to another institution. Cool. The person though that can leverage AI the best between those 2 new graduates, regardless of where they went to school at, is going to get the job. Okay, you went to Harvard and you understand the whole curriculum and unit plan, but your implementation of it and your ability to implement it fluidly, along with using AI and actually teach it, if the other person at the other institution is better, they're going to get the job. So whoever has the best relationship with AI for the next 10 to 20 years is going to be the person that's winning and get the job every single time. I need to make sure my kids can do that. I need to make sure they can put themselves in that position to do that. So, hey, my final stance, does schools make kids less intelligent? Yeah. Are there some schools that are going against that trend? Oh, yeah. The question is, which trend will you pick? If you're a business owner, which school are you going to support to make sure that those kids have a fighting chance at life? If you're a leader or a principal, you heard this episode, what do you want to do within your school to shift up this same monotonous lifestyle, right? This way of teaching? Who's going to switch it up? Will it be you? If you're a teacher, I expect you to have some fun. Because I guarantee you, like I told you in my last episode, Michael Bonner, this year, I am not doing too much talking about what I'm going to do. I'm going to just show you, baby. And that's what life's about. Show these people. Okay? Hey, I love you all. Be on the lookout this Wednesday for the current events episode. Be on the lookout this Friday for Always Anonymous. I always love when you share and you comment and you post on social media, wherever you're at. Look, I thank you for following along with this podcast. And you know me, I state at the end of every one, I freaking love you. If no one has told you this, in a day, a week. I love you. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm praying for your humanity. I pray the rest of 2025 is incredible for you and I. I pray that if you're going through a rough moment in time right now, that it eases. And even if it doesn't ease, I pray that God guides you and comforts you and show you the lesson that you need in this season. Know that we are here as a community. We rise together, and that's what we do. I love you all so much, and never forget, you know my slogan, legacy over likes. Take care and have a great week. Peace.